Hello, welcome back. Today I would like to talk about gory, delicious, wonderful, amazing crime fiction. And not just any crime fiction, but popular crime fiction. I always try and get my friends to read crime novels. I always try and, persuade people to get into crime, and the thing that I constantly hear is, no, everybody's reading that, I don't want to read that, they made that into a movie, it's so popular now. There's some amazing crime writers out there, and I'm just going to share a few of my favourites today, a few that I think are really worth the effort that's put into reading their book. It doesn't matter if they're popular because they're popular for a reason, is what I say. So the first author that I have is one that is immensely successful, but she's in a particular type of crime. She's in kind of crime thriller genre, so her books are a little bit gory, a little bit twisted, but they never cease to amaze me. She has some incredible ideas that really draw me in and don't let me go right until the end. That crime author is Gillian Flynn! I have all of her books. As far as I'm aware, these are the only books she has. Gone Girl, Sharp Objects and Dark Places. My personal favourite is Sharp Objects. It's her debut novel, then came Dark Places, then Gone Girl, I believe. But Gone Girl is obviously incredibly popular. Dark Places has just been made into a movie, and Sharp Objects, well, I just love it a lot. Her books are a little bit sort of sadistic, I guess you could say. They're quite confronting, so I wouldn't read these if you don't like serious themes, I guess you could say. But she's such an intelligent and clever writer. And the next crime author that I have to present to you is one that is a little bit more mild, a little bit more intellectual rather than thrilling. So these crimes are solved by a sleuth. The sleuth is called Cormoran Strike, and it's kind of like classic English detective story, I would say. The author is Robert Galbraith. If you've been sort of in the loop for a while, you would know that Robert Galbraith is J.K. Rowling. So I picked up The Cuckoo's Calling before I even knew that, and I fell in love with it. And when I found out that Robert was not Robert but actually Joanne Rowling, I was like, ah! What? But it made me very happy because one of my favourite books is now connected to one of my favourite authors. The Cormoran Strike series really presented to me what an intelligent, what a creative woman J.K. Rowling is, because people often just look at her in terms of Harry Potter and also in terms of The Casual Vacancy. But I feel like through this series, I've got to know just how incredibly talented she is and how much I really love her style of writing. It's very factual, it can be quite dry, but it's also so enlightening and it grips you and it draws you in. I really recommend these books for someone who enjoys a little bit of Agatha Christie, a little bit of English classic crime. So I also really like these books for the characters. They're very whole and they're also very flawed, but in a way that makes me feel for them and not hate them. The next I have is quite an old book. I read it a little while ago, and it is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. This book is creepy. It's more of a thriller than a crime, so it's through the eyes of a woman that suffered from amnesia, and she doesn't remember a lot about her life, and she's living with this man who she guesses is her husband, but every day she wakes up, she can't really remember what's going on. She has a diary where she writes everything down. And there's a man, a doctor, who's researching her particular type of amnesia, and he's trying to help her. And eventually, she solves what happens to her herself, but it's still quite gripping and it's mesmerizing, and it's a little bit unsettling because she doesn't really know what's going on and everyone else is telling her all of these different things, and she doesn't really know what to believe. I thought that this book was cleverly written, and for that I really enjoyed it. I really appreciated the effort that the author went to make sure that this book was realistic, that this crime was realistic and not just, one of those novels that just chucks in a freak of science. It was very informative and it was also very creepy. The next book that I have is quite a new book. It's been a little bit popular lately, and it's The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I hated the main character in this book. I could not stand her. I read it a little while ago, so I can't really remember a lot of the specifics, but she essentially commutes on a train every day and she looks into the lives of the people that live in a very particular area. She can see into their backyards, and she has this particular interest in one couple. And then one morning she sees something from the train and it sort of sets off her interest in these people's lives. But you also find out that she is a part of their lives, and it's very cleverly written. I didn't really enjoy the plot twist. It was unpredictable, but not in a very good way. However, I really appreciate Paula Hawkins. The way that she writes, the way that she puts things together is quite clever, and it's also very gripping, so I'm really excited to see what else she has. It's really a good creepy crime. I hope this motivates some of you to get into crime fiction. I know it's becoming quite a popular genre, and for good reason, because a lot of these authors, a lot of the new and upcoming crime writers are incredibly talented, incredibly clever, and really know how to put together a good gripping book. So excited to see what new writers are emerging. If you know any other great crime books, let me know, because I'm always looking for more. If you know any great classic crime books, you know, a really good Agatha Christie, Sir Conan Doyle, let me know that too, because I'm always looking. And if you've read any of these and enjoyed any of these, or didn't enjoy any of these, let me know that too, because I love to talk about the books that I've read, especially when it comes to crime fiction.